Good morning, everybody. It's me, V, the CPS Scholar, and I'm dropping in to do a reaction slash rant to a Jazzman's Blues, a Tyler Perry production that he's put on Netflix. They apparently have a deal going on. And Tyler Perry, he's been putting out movies, and I'm so proud of him for it. I am a fan of the actual plays, especially because of the amazing singing, the amazing talent. And he gave a lot of unknown name people their start in the movie business. So I am a fan of Tyler Perry. I am a fan of Medea. Some of the stuff is suspect, but I'm definitely a fan of Tyler Perry. I think he's super talented. And with this A Jazzman Blues, it looks like either he let some other people go into the writing room, or he got a little he got himself together and got more creative, because this is a really solid film. And hey, I'd be willing to watch it again. I'm gonna tell a quick review of what I thought of the movie, and then I'm gonna say spoiler alert, and then whoever hasn't seen the movie can drop off and come back when you're done. But while you're leaving, leave me a like and a comment, and definitely subscribe if you're digging my content. Hope you're happy, healthy, and loved and blessed. I'm the CPS Scholar, and I do grown-up conversations, reviews, and reactions. And I watched A Jazzman's Blues today. And so before I get into that, let me go ahead and hit you guys with the intro. You know what the deal is, people. You know what the deal is. I know that it's early. I'm trying to jump more on live. Shout out to the replay gang. People are going to watch this later. Let me hit you with the intro, and then we can get into the movie. So here we go. All right, like I said, I'm the CPS Scholar, and this channel is about reactions, reviews, grown-up conversations. And this movie, it was a familiar subject, but the way it was done was beautiful. So, like I said, I'm gonna do the actual review of the movie, what I thought of everything, and then I'll do kind of a blow by blow based on what I remember off the top of my head about the movie, and we'll give it a rating. So this is A Jazzman's Blues. It's Tyler Perry. First thing I wanted to say is it's way better than A Fall from Grace. Fall from Grace had some really classic lines. There's some classic memes that came out of it, like cigarette, like there was bad wigs, there was crazy extras eating air. The story was wild. But this is a way more serious melodrama. So what I'm gonna say is the actors in this movie really shined. All of them were believable. They acted the hell out of these roles. The cinematography was good. I've been to where they were, which is Savannah, Georgia, and I automatically recognized it. But it was done so beautiful. You felt like you were back in time. You were in the country. And the way they had the singing and the music fit perfectly. When I saw the music and dancing, when I saw Debbie Allen was choreographer and Terrence Blanchard, if you don't know, look them up. When I saw they were involved, I was like, okay. And then I said, this is going to be an amazing movie. I already know that they don't put out any junk, right? And then, of course, Tyler Perry and his studios is really working hard to put out content for us. And it looks like they hit a winner with this, especially on Netflix. For me, Netflix is a mixed bag. Sometimes it's really horrendous, like 365, right? And sometimes it's super quality. Y'all, I started watching Dahmer a little bit, and I couldn't even get through it all the way good because I was spooked. But either way, this movie was really good. And that actor that stood out to me was Joshua Boone. That man's so fine. I don't know. He's not even my type. But as soon as he came on the screen, he took over the screen. He definitely has star power. So with that being said, before I start actually talking about the movie, let me go ahead. Oh, the other one that stood out. The young lady who played Hattie Mae. Hattie Mae, who put the mom. Man, something about her voice was powerful. She was beautiful. She was strong without it being stereotypical. Her name is Amira Van. I hope I'm saying her name right. And so Leah Pfeiffer, I don't know what it is. Maybe because I feel some type of way about how this story played out. Um, she was definitely believable. She had good emotional range, all that good stuff. Uh, she did. I mean, maybe I'm tired of the passing movies. I don't know, but it still worked. And Willie Earl had a way to make you hate him. Lord have mercy, looking like Bird in the Midnight Falcons. I said, okay, Willie Earl. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and rate this, and then I'm gonna jump into what the movie was about. So after I rate this, if you haven't seen the movie, you can fall off and please come back and finish watching it because I'm about to be blood raw and talk about what I thought about this movie. No offense to anybody. These were my genuine feelings as I was watching this movie. I think it was a great movie. It had a lot of the Tyler Perry tropes, though. It had, except they switched the light skin and dark skin. So the light skin doesn't come save the day today. He's the bad guy. Dark skin dude is the love interest, right? We have the evil mom. What else we have in there? We have them going against the man. Let me see what else. We have a lot going on in this movie that I could see the Tyler Perry behind it, but it wasn't so blaringly obvious that it took away from the story. The story was good. The cinematography was good, and you could tell they had a budget for this movie. So I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 Smarties. It's a good watch. I could watch it over again because there's some movies you sit through and you're like, what in the hell? I can't sit through this again. I don't want to ruin the ending, but please take your time to watch A Jazzman's Blues. Is worth it, especially, we got a hurricane coming here and it was a rainy day and I was just chilling out at the house. And I'm the type of person that used to love watching Lifetime movies hours long on a sleepy Sunday. And this movie was definitely worth it. It had a good story. It flowed. The pacing was good. I actually related to the characters. I was engaged with the characters. It was definitely worth the watch. So check out Jazzman's Blues. Tyler Perry presents. He's like Spike Lee. He like to put his name on everything. So check it out. 3 out of 5 Smarties. Now, if you haven't watched the movie, you can go watch the movie. And because I'm about to start the spoilers, I'm about to start talking about the movie. So either way, the movie starts off with what seems to be like a political advertisement. There's a man on there talking about how he doesn't want an outsider to come in and take the political seat that he wants, that he's an outsider. He's from Atlanta. They know how his family has been in politics for the longest and how he should be running the show. And then he starts talking about affirmative action and how people are given, it's like another way to give out welfare. I'm not even gonna go there with these people. And he was like, why is every unmelanated person considered racist? All this other stuff. So he's going off. And you see an older lady saying, hush, and then she gets to walking. She's on a mission. She's walking down the railroad track. Obviously, I was wondering why they was letting this old lady walk like this. But either way, it was very reminiscent of Stand By Me. She goes to the office. She won't leave the politician's office. And she finally gets in and she's like, I want you to investigate a murder from 1947. And he's like, you need to talk to the sheriff's office or whatever. And he's like, what do you want, old lady, pretty much? And he's like, why don't you write something up and we'll, talk to her. She's like, I don't write. I've never written anything, but he wrote everything. And she puts a pile of letters on top of the guy's desk. And she was like, everything you need to know is here. And she leaves. So he gets to reading the story. And basically it goes back in time. And you see this guy named Bayou. And his name's Bayou because his eyes are as deep as the bayou, according to his father. And he pretty much is at this, I guess it was a picnic. And all of a sudden I felt like I was transported into The Color Purple. But either way, Tyler Perry loves The Color Purple. So I'm not shocked at the references. So you get there. And you see Hattie Mae, and she is jamming. She's singing about a rooster, and she's giving it. She's giving her body. She's stepping. Yeah, even in a moo who look like in some boots. She was giving it, and then her husband Buster was playing the music behind. And then he makes a slick comment, and he was like, "I want my boys to make me proud." And they get Bayou to get up there and play the trumpet, and he sounds terrible. So they were clowning him, and then Willie Earl gets up there. And let me see. I think I at least got pictures for that because I put this together real quick because I love y'all. You know, I love y'all so much. Willie Earl gets up there and he jams the trumpet, and then you see the dynamic. Willie Earl here with his little trumpet. You see the dynamic between the two brothers. So I'm like, oh crap, here comes some Cain and Abel foolishness. I can tell. My brother's keeper, all that good stuff. Okay, shout out New Jack City. So we're like, okay, this is about to be some foolishness. There's some sibling rivalry going on. So while he's there, they see a new girl, and I forgot what this lady's name is. The friend girl, the one that's in the friend zone. Sitzy. Sitzy says that's Bucket, and he was like, "Why they call her Bucket?" He said because her mama came down here and dropped her off like threw her away, dropped her off like an old bucket, but her real name is Leanne. So all that happens, and then Leanne's watching on the side, and they go to him. I may be skipping parts because it's all off the top of my head. They go to him, and he's off by himself, and Leanne kind of was hiding in the trees, and he's singing, and y'all, he sound good. He sound good. And Leanne said, "Why didn't you sing? Why'd you let them trick you into basically playing the trumpet? You know you're terrible. Why didn't you sing?" He said, "Because my dad doesn't like my voice." And she was like, "Well, it looks like your dad doesn't know much." So of course he gets offended. "That's my pa." And he calls her Bucket. And she is like, "Don't ever call me Bucket again, or I'll never speak to you again." So they go to talking, and they befriend each other or whatever. And she gets his attention by, I'm kind of probably skipping a part, but anyways, there's more of the dynamic between the brothers, and you can see that the brothers and the dad is always picking on Bayou. The dad's name is Buster, and the mom Hattie Mae is always, they fighting for their life every time to defend him or whatever. And he basically is falling in love with Leanne, aka Bucket. She throws paper planes through his window with a letter on it to get him to come out. And what we realize is that Bayou doesn't know how to read. And so he goes and he jumps out the window every night to go see her. They like spend time together. They fall in love, all that good stuff. And he wants to ask her to the social. He goes to ask, like I said, I mean, be jumping around parts. He wants to take her to the social. And everybody's like, she lives with her grandpa. That's who they dropped off with. And he's evil and nasty. And basically, he wants to take her to the social, and the dad and the father find out, and they start picking on him, saying nobody wants him. The whole time they call him Blackie, all types of crazy colorism. You know how it is in Black families or whatever. Even me, with my beautiful chocolate self, have had people say slick things like, "Oh, you've gotten dark. I thought you were gonna be light like your sister." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, what is your point right now? So either way, so he goes to go ask her to the social, and that's when we meet the grandpa, and the grandpa is very territorial over her. When she's like, "Go away, don't say anything," and he's like, his mom is like a jack of all trades. She's a washerwoman. She births babies. She sell dope out the back. And I'm just playing y'all, but either way, she does everything. So it was funny because they had spending all that time together, and once he realized that grandpa was crazy, they backed out. So she came to see him again, and they kept seeing each other, and he said, "I love you," eventually. And then all of a sudden, you know what happened? He said, "I love you people." She disappeared, and he thought it was because he said, "I love you," but it come to find out, he went to go find her because she stopped coming around. And the grandfather, as I figured, was taking advantage of her, and he didn't say anything. So they finally saw each other again, and he proposed to her, and she was like, "I can't. My grandpa's crazy. He's going to do something to us." Then he's like, "No, I'm going to run away with you." When he goes back to the mom and everything. I probably skipped an entire part. I think the dad left to go find his fortune in Chicago and play jazz. And the son, Willie Earl, was upset because he's a musician too, and he wanted to be with the dad. And he actually ran off to Chicago too. Either way, back to Leanne and her problems. So he proposed to Leanne. By the time he was gonna go get her, Sitsi told him, "Oh, everybody's moving to this new town. I think it's called Hope Valley, or Hopewell, and moved to a new town or whatever." And the mom was like, "Your dad ran off. I don't really want to leave here," but they talked her into leaving too. He said, "I'm gonna go take old girl from her grandpa run off too." And when he goes, they said, "No, she's leaving." Since he tells him she's leaving, the mom came and got her. When he goes to go get her, the mom basically said, "Get away from here. I'm going to say you're the one who's been doing something to her." Read between the lines. I think they use Bondi Blue calls it grape juicing, so you don't get messed up on the YouTube and analytics. But anyways, so she leaves, pulls off. He gets put into the army, drafted. He's been writing her letters the entire time. So boom, there go the notebook. By the way, I have never laid eyes on the notebook. I only know it as a cultural reference. So maybe one day I'll watch it. So he goes to the army. He gets hurt, so he gets sent back to the town. And he finds out that his mom owns this really banging juke joint. And so she's making money. Everything's beautiful. Willie Earl comes back with this manager. I'm skipping all over the place. Willie Earl comes back with this manager who is super sick. And the mom is also known as the medicine woman. And yes, I see the color purple again because you got a juke joint. Everybody hanging out. They're coming across the water. Tyler Perry already really relived his Beyonce homecoming dreams with that Medea homecoming. Now he's reliving the color purple with this. But either way, Hattie Mae once again is jamming, boy, and she is so beautiful to me. And we got people tap dancing, Willie Earl playing the trumpet, and sick ass Ira. So Ira ends up getting taken to the house, and Bayou takes care of. Basically, the reason Ira was there is because Willie Earl was promised by Ira if he makes him well again, because the mom is a famous medicine woman, doula, all that stuff, that he will help him get a deal at a famous club in Chicago. So he takes him there and comes to find out, it looks like Ira is on that stuff. He's messed up. So Ira's messed up. Willie Earl is messed up. And he gets nursed back to health. So now he's gonna work them to get them back in a juke joint, in the famous club in Chicago. So they basically go ahead and nurse Ira back to health. And so now he owes them, right? And then he realizes that Bayou can really, really sing. And of course, Willie Earl, who hates this man, hates his brother with a passion, hates his brother with a passion, is there living with the mom, so they back in the house together again. The irony of the situation is Sitsi got a job working with a family, and Bayou's helping his mama out by taking the laundry there. And that's when we find out that Miss Leanne, aka Bucket, is married to a whole white man. And he's future mayor of the town, the town, because I forgot what the county level is. And the brother-in-law is the sheriff. The brother-in-law is the sheriff. So, and she's passing as a whole white woman. So Sissy see her and be like, "What? He like, is that her? I'm not sure." But she sees Bayou from behind and she freaks out because that's her childhood love. They got pulled away from each other. He is freaked out because now obviously she's passing as a white woman, and a white woman that's a part of a really big family. And remember, the entire time he's been writing her letters, and the mother who wants to help, who wants them to pass, because it turns out the grandfather and the whole family, because they've been living in Boston this whole time, the whole family basically left them flat broke. Okay, Medea's family reunion. There's all a bunch of movies mixed in one. flat broke. So they're trying to get married into this family, and she's telling her daughter, if you don't be quiet, because these people is super racist, and if you tell them that you're black, they're gonna kill all of us. So either way, oh Lord, there was so much that happened. Either way, she sees Bayou, not she fiending for Bayou. And the mama knows that she loves Bayou, and she wants to leave the husband. And the husband was like, if you the husband, because they eloped. The husband was like, if you leave me and embarrass me, you're gonna end up in the river. Back to Bayou sitting there nursing Ira back to health. We find out more about Ira. He's a manager. He was in the Holocaust. His family, it gets more deeper in the story with the family. I'm not gonna say it until we get to that part. But we see that Bayou and Ira are given a bond because he actually knows how. He actually learned from his mother how to take care of people, so he took more care of him than Willie Earl did. Then we find out that we go back to a scene where they're at the table learning about the actual family, and what it is the juke joint that Bayou's mom owned is not bothered by the unmelanated folks there because she's greasing the sheriff's palms. So it's all mixed up or whatever. And then so I'm trying to get through the scenes too so I can remember. They get Bayou to get up there and sing again at the juke joint. And that's when Ira realized that Bayou has a different type of voice, because Ira was worried that Willie Earl's actual talent wasn't special enough to get them into the special place. I mean, the place that they wanted to get to is an all-white blues club in Chicago. So now he got to figure out a way to get Willie Earl to agree and Hattie Mae, because at first he was asking Hattie Mae because Hattie Mae's super talented. So basically Willie Earl got the musicianship from the daddy, and Bayou got the singing from the mom. By the way, we find out Buster got killed up there in Chicago. So the dad he ran away, but he's gone now. Anyways, they're hanging out at the juke joint, and here come Miss Bucket, aka Leanne, coming in to these color folks area. Acting like I'm in number 40 area late at night, coming looking for Bayou. And it's like, oh my God, everybody's freaking out because you have to remember this is the 1940s. This ain't Delray by the beach. This is the woods of Savannah, where one of my favorite movies, Gone with the Wind, is set, I believe. And this it's a unmelanated woman driving in the dark in a black neighborhood, and she's the wife of the future mayor and the sister-in-law of the sheriff. It's a recipe for disaster, y'all. It's a recipe for a disaster. But she knows she's passing. They don't know that she's white. I don't know if you've ever seen Queen, but a similar storyline. It's a bunch of storylines in one. So they go off, and she's like, I love you. I missed you. I've always thought about you. And he's like, I can't be with you because you're going to get me killed, because everybody knew if they dealt with each other and they found out that man was with a white woman, they were going to kill him. So he's like, he's in love with her. They've loved each other since they were 17. He's been writing her this whole time. He finally sees the love of his life. She loved him, and they cannot be together. Here you go. The forbidden love story. And so he's like, I can never see you again. She's like, but I love you. And he dips out. And while they're out there, the sheriff brother-in-law pulls up and sees her out in this black neighborhood. He's like, what the hell you doing out here in the middle of the woods with the Negroes? And she's like, the maid, she's a maid, Sitsy, even though she knows that this lady is black. Sitsy pretends with Bayou, oh, we were out. She was supposed to come pick me up to take me back to work because I didn't have a ride. And so it all looks suspicious. Now the sheriff is side-eyeing like, well, something ain't right. And it looks like Sitsy and Bayou are together. And why in the heck did Leanne and Bucket get jealous of that and feel some type of way? And it was so weird. It was so weird. Anyways, back to the Ira getting them a record deal storyline. He finally gets to a phone. He tells them that he has an amazing singer. And like I said, Willie Earl thinks it's just going to be him, but it's going to be him and Bayou. So Willie Earl's trying to find his dreams, and he has to take his brother who can't stand along with him, not knowing that the brother's the only reason. So Sissy get home and she's scrubbing the floor, or she's getting ready to leave, and because she's now Leanne Bucket's maid, right? And she was like, I mopped this floor, but Leanne's scrubbing the floor and saying, you missed the spot. And she's like, okay, I'll come help you when I get out my dress. And then Leanne acts like what she's pretending to be and gets in Sissy's face and slaps her. And Sissy say, lady, I know who you are. You know how this somebody, like, I know you. And she slaps her back. And she was like, and she calls her Bucket. While they're in the middle of fighting, the husband come down and they got to play it off because she knows that she's a black woman that's passing. And then, like I said, that's when Bucket says, I want to go back to Boston. I don't feel safe here. And the husband's like, this is my home. If you feel safe here, or you going to feel safe in the river. And I'm just going to say that the tide got too high and you got swept away. Oh my God, I just realized where that part is from. If you ever seen Fried Green Tomatoes, Tyler Perry, I see you, Tyler Perry. That's why I love this movie so much. It's a big mixture of all the movies I love, other than The Notebook, which I've never seen a day in my life. Okay, so that's reference to Fried Green Tomatoes. Once again, Iris asking, can Hattie Mae go with him to Chicago to play at the Kappa, I guess it's supposed to be like the Copacabana in Miami. And she says no. And they finally they sing together, Willie Earl and Hattie Mae, because there's a lot of good ass songs in this movie. Like I told you, the music was impeccable. It was beautiful. And then we go back to Sitsy and freaking Bucket. And she's like, how'd you know it was me? She said, I didn't. I didn't know. I just took a shot at saying it. And she's like telling her she loves. So basically, Bayou's friend zone friend is helping the true love of his life, which is Bucket. Let me put these two back on the screen. So, and she's like, why did you slap me? And she was like, oh, I slapped you because I saw you with him and I got jealous. And she said, y'all can't be like that. Y'all can't act like that over each other because you guys can't even be together. He will get killed. So what are you trying to do? And then so she gives Sitsy a letter to give to him. Sitsy going along with this foolishness, and I have no idea why. And Sitsy, and she puts it in the shape of a paper plane. Remember, the paper planes is how they used to send messages to each other. So let's go back here. I'll make sure I captured everything. Okay, now the letter is for her and Bayou to meet or whatever, and they meet up by a bridge. Bridges of Madison County. I see you, Tyler Perry. No, that I'm kind of watching this the second time. And they meet and they look at each other, and he said, I can't be with you as usual. Then they can't wait. The passion overtakes them and they smash. And you see a car pull up and like, oh snap, the sheriff done caught him. And you know what's gonna go down. But no, it's that evil ass mama seeing what's going on. And so we go flashback to the screen. And Leanne or Bucket is sitting with her husband, and they watching Howdy Doody. And they go to the door, and it's the sheriff. And the sheriff said, somebody said the washerwoman, see, they reduced her to a washerwoman. You know that Hattie Mae is everything, right? Everything. The washerwoman's son, they said he whistled at your wife, telling the future mayor that. So Miss Bucket, who we know is actually black, got whistled at by Bayou, which is a lie. The mother set him up because he knew if they said that he whistled, I want to say shout out to Emmett Till to try to play it out. But this is like the repeat of the Emmett Till story. If you don't know the Emmett Till story, the lady lied and said he whistled and he ended up getting unalived, and it was horrendous. And the mom had a funeral with an open casket so everybody can see what happens when people let their racist ways take over and let them be violent with people. So, anyways, the mom, Leanne tells them that the mama lied, and the mom was like, "You know why I set him up?" I mean, they leave to go get Bayou because they finna go strange fruit him. So, if you don't know, look up what strange fruit is. So they're gonna go find him, and Leanne's like, "Mom, why you lied?" She was like, "I had to lie because you can't make us lose out on this money. And if this man finds out that you are black, you see how they look at black people. They're gonna do the same thing that they want to do to Bayou." So they cut out, and the Sitsi, who is the maid there, manages to escape out the back to go warn Bayou. Now you got to remember, Willie Earl and Ira is getting ready to leave to go to audition, and Sitsi gets there in time to tell Bayou and them to run, and then they jump in the car and they all go run off to go to Chicago. And the mom said, "I'll be okay because I've been greasing this man's palms for my juke joint for the longest. So I'm going to keep them from doing anything." So the whole lynch mob show up, and they're looking, and she's like, "Please don't let them burn my house down." And yeah, please don't let them burn my house down. And I've been helping you out. And he was like, "Be quiet," because he didn't want anybody to know he was in cahoots with a Negro woman. So Sissy gets back and tells Leanne, aka Bucket, that that they got away, and she said, "I'm so happy, I would have been sad." So then it goes to Ira, Willie Earl, and Bayou riding. And as usual, Willie Earl be knocked out in the back most of this movie. Most of this movie, he's playing Weekend at Bernie's, and he's passed out in the back. So on that stuff. So it was super. Bayou felt guilty because he left the women folk. Think about that. And he feels like a coward, like he's always running. Back to what I alluded to, they kept saying Bayou was slow, he wasn't a man. They told him he was dark, all types of crazy stuff about this man. And like I said, he only learned how to read because they said he was too slow. They didn't care if he knew how to read. And the only one who ever stood up for him was his mother. So he's left the only person that ever loved him, people who ever loved him, Leanne and his mom, back in danger. So they pull over, and that's when Ira tells the story that he was Jewish. He's from Germany. He got taken to a concentration camp. His wife and his daughter got killed because they weren't able to work fast enough, and he was left to pick up the pieces, and he had to move on. And I was like, "You need to move on so that you need to survive so that you can actually make it to come back to help your mother." Now we're in Chicago. We get there in Chicago. They get to the place, and it's a whites only club. Very beautiful, very nice. Of course, the entertainment is black. And they realize that Bayou is the real talent. He starts singing it. He said, Ira said, "Sing whatever you want, what's on your heart, whatever will make you feel good about your mother." And he sings, and it's so beautiful that everybody loves it. So he starts singing. They love him. The club is packed every night, but the brother's acting up. He's getting high. He's getting advance every night. It's looking like freaking Sparkle, the way he's shooting up behind the club. I see it's about 50 movies in this movie, y'all. And he gets upset, but the whole time that he's not really getting to play because he's in the back playing instrument and Bayou's in the front. Anyways, we find out, they flash back to the hometown, and come to find out the sheriff and the mayor is making sure that Patty May can't even make money. They won't let her wash clothes no more. The money, Bayou finds out they're showing it. He's going to find out a little bit later. The mom's not even getting the money he's sending because they're opening her mail. They close down her juke joint, and she literally has to start a garden in order to feed herself. So she's basically, but she won't leave because she doesn't like big towns. Y'all, sometimes you gotta leave, right? So we see that Leanne is pregnant. Um, and everybody's loving on her and everything. And we flash back to Chicago and we find out that Willie Earl is acting up. But Bayou's huge. They made him the headliner. He's getting all the accolades, and Willie Earl is like half asleep on the stand. He's just there. And then they show this amazing Josephine Baker homage dance, and while they're doing that, we see Sitzy bringing Leanne to Hattie Mae to give birth to the baby, and gives birth to the baby, and they don't say anything. I felt like the baby was gonna come out and be black like life, but it wasn't. But she delivered a baby, and they like lied and took it and said the baby got delivered at a white hospital. Then Bayou comes back backstage, and it's a friend from back home who puts him up on everything that's been happening to his mother, how she can barely feed herself. And he tries to say, okay, can you take money for me? He was like, you know better than me. I like boozing women too much. You can't leave no money with me. He said about I'll take a letter. And then Ira comes in, asks him to leave, saying your brother needs to get fired. He, like I said, he's been taking advances. He's been getting high. He's been boozing with the women. And he needs to get fired. He's like, we can't do it. But he's like, we need to go back home to my mom for one night. I was like, man, you can't go back home. You cannot go back home at all. You know they want to lynch you. And so he's like, no, I need to go back home one night. Then we flash over to Hattie Mae, still getting treated like crap, trying to buy stuff from the store. They won't even give her credit. And she hears Bayou's song, and she sees Leanne comes in, happy to see her. And Leanne tries to pay for her food, and she just walks away. Then Leanne goes to see her in the garden, like, hey. While she's gardening, hey, I love your son. Have you heard from him? She was like, you don't think I see my son's eyes in that baby's eyes? You need to be happy he came out white. And she's like, but I love him. And she's like, you're going to get him killed. Please go away from me with this foolishness. And then they leave. So we go back to Chicago. And once what the hell is his name? Willie Earl's up there grandstanding, playing the trumpet. I see you, Mo Better Bruise. Like I said, it's about 30 movies in this one movie. But I know a lot about movies, bro. For folks who don't watch the movies, I'm sure this all looks fresh and new. Anyways, so I was like, yeah, we need to fire this dude. They go back to the dressing room, a.k.a. Sparkle again. Y'all, what? I told y'all I was going to be real about this review. This is Sparkle. He goes and he takes his brother's drugs, cocaine, and hides it. So the brother tried to fight him. He's like, I hate you. You're black. I've always hated you. My father, I don't care if mama loved you more. My father loved me. He's the one who taught me how to shoot up. I saw him get shot. All types of crazy stuff. I might have skipped ahead, but that's what happened. He's devastated because the father got shot and killed, and it was in front of him. Anyways, they fight. He gets fired. He keeps the drugs. He pulls a gun out on him to try to get his drugs back. Ira come in. The club owner come in like, you fired. You got to go. So now he blames Bayou instead of his old crackish ways for getting fired or whatever. He said, I'm going to get you. We ain't finished. So we go back down south, and we have Leanne coming in here doing her own Jerry Springer Maury moment, asking Sitzy if the baby looked dark. But this baby looked like a little munchkin, a little elf. Cute as a button. Look Caucasian to me. I don't know, but you never know, because apparently she passing. And Sissy said, calm down, it'll be all right. And Sissy tells freaking Leanne that Bayou's coming back from one night. I'm like, Sissy, you say you love the man, you care for his safety. This ain't Romeo and Juliet. This is South in Savannah, Georgia in the 40s. And you know what they gonna strange fruit this man. And I don't care what love. You do know most people are okay with people loving whoever they want to be with. But the reason, especially us mamas, especially us black mamas, feel the way that we do most of the time when we see it, is not a hate for Becky with the good hair, really. It's the fact that people died behind that. I open the door, I'm closing it back. All right, so moving on. So Cincy tells him coming in. The mom found out that Cincy told, and she's like, dude, you gonna get my son killed. Then we go back to Bayou. Bayou doesn't want to leave. Bayou busting into Willie Earl's apartment. It's looking like the 5 Heartbeats and Eddie Kane Jr. Everybody laid out, everybody high. He finds Willie Earl with a needle in his arm. He cleans him up, and that's when he tells that the father got killed in front of him, and he's the one who taught him how to get high. So both Bayou and Willie Earl, who once again is reenacting Weekend at Bernie's because he's not passed out, half out his mind as they ride a bus down. Or maybe it was a tour bus. And they see Mama. Mama's happy to see him. Sissy happy to see him. And y'all they're happy because they're gonna have he's basically gonna go back to the juke joint to bring people there to his mom so she can get business back. In the vein of Fredo Corleone, Willie Earl trifling self goes down and tells the sheriff that Bayou is there because they were going to try to sneak him in and sneak him back out. But he said, I can't wait down until we go down to Georgia and they strange fruit that I read context clues, people, what strange fruit means. And he's saying that about his own brother. So he goes and tells the sheriff. So now they know. So everybody in the juke joint, color purpling it up, singing. Everybody's happy to see him. And I skipped the part. Bayou has a plan to come back and get Leanne, and he doesn't know anything about the baby. So he's going to go see her. He's going to take her away. He says, I'm going to step out to go look at the bus real quick. And Leanne's on the bus, and she tells him he has a son. And Willie Earl's up there on the stage playing the trumpet like the traitor that he is. And you hear gunshots outside. Well, you see them grab Bayou from Leanne. And you hear gunshots outside. You see 2 of the people, the poor dudes who just came to be security for him are on the ground. And freaking they go out there and there go poor Bayou. Strange fruit hanging from the tree. I know this is a movie, but if you see the old pictures, if you see the glee and joy of the people seeing them people strange fruit and people from a tree, you know why this is emotional. And people try to downplay our history. They try to downplay the stuff that happens to us. It's important to us. I see the policies trying to erase our history. I'm getting serious for a moment. I'm the scholar part of me. You're trying to erase our history. You want to downplay what we've been through. Me as I'm not going to say what age woman, even in this age, I've experienced it. So I know people who try to downplay it and say we're making it up. Hey, that fool DGG said, when they were making all that fuss about the Little Mermaid. Wait on it. I'm coming with something. When they did the thing about Little Mermaid talking about something, I thought Martin Luther King erased all that. If you don't get your ignorant ass on with that. But anyways, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's morphed. I prefer my racism straightforward, so I know what you feel about me and I can move accordingly. I'm very proud to be a very melanated person. Very proud, a Haitian woman. Very proud of my ancestry and my color. Nobody can make me feel any different. But anyways, it was very emotional. And it all happened. And the funny thing is, he never wanted her to tell them that she was a Black woman. He was more protective of her than of himself. And that trifling mama lied. Either way, and Willie Earl is a perfect example of how your own family can set you up based on jealousy and envy on something he couldn't even control. He was supposed to be slower than you. He was supposed to be lower than you. He was supposed to be black. Like I said, you walking around light as bright, light bright, looking like Burn the Midnight Falcons, and you supposedly couldn't make it for yourself, and you're jealous of that man's talent. Y'all need to stop this jealousy. Y'all need to stop it. This brother set up his own brother to be taken out over old sibling rivalries and his failure as a human being to reach his goals and his dreams because of something he pumped in his veins. Oh, Lord, upset. Either way, we go back to the politician. And he like, hold up. I need to check something real quick. So he goes and he goes see his mama at her house. And I'm missing a very important part. Bayou had wrote a song called Paper Planes, and it was becoming a big hit. Keep that in mind. He goes to go see his mom, and she's in the nursing home, boohoo crying, making paper planes and listening to Bayou's song. And they say, Leanne, are you all right? So this politician that got his behind up there was talking all that trash about black people and welfare and all that stuff. Come to find out, he is multiracial. They say mulatto. I don't even know if that's still, it was a saying or whatever, not a curse word or anything. But he finds out that he's half black. So the movie ends with a perfect song. I think it was called Paper Planes too. And he's sitting there and he's looking up in the big house that his family, so obviously they raised him with the white side of the family, not knowing any better. So she stayed with them people that did that to that Bayou. And he looks up at a Confederate flag, and the movie pans out and it's over. Y'all, it was a good story. It had a good plot. There were some things that were super interesting. I could see plot devices being used. Like Sissy was a plot device to move the story along because you couldn't have the mom telling everything because she knew she wouldn't want her son to get hurt. Was it worth it? Was the love worth it? To him it was. To her it was. But he went back for one night for the two people who ever truly loved him in his life, and he was tired of being a coward. And he paid the price of being strange fruit. So there were many themes. There was mothers, two different types of mothers. One that would do anything for you. One that was only out for herself. We had pride. We had lies. We had a system where you were afraid to love somebody different. That's why I don't really give a crap if somebody loves somebody. I really could care less about interracial dating. I do not care. What I care about is when you down your own people to justify the person you love. Just love that person for who they are and just keep it moving and stand there proud with whoever you chose to love. That's it. But it was a deep movie. I gave it a 3 out of 5, but it had themes that really touched me. Tyler Perry did a great job. The actors did a great job. The music was good. And it wasn't like over stereotypical crazy, like they bust a hip hop song out in the middle of a reason, like they did with Self-Made, the Madam C.J. Walker. But either way, good job Netflix, good job Tyler Perry, good job all the actors, and I'm in love with Joshua Boone now and Willie Earl. You could. Anyways, so that's how you know he was an amazing actor. Because he really made me hate his ass. I probably hate him more than that damn sheriff and mayor who were just sheriff and mayor. But anyways, with that being said, thank you guys for joining me. Do me a favor. I got so caught up. I'm so glad I got through that whole story. If I missed any parts, let me know. Let me know what you thought about the movie. I thought it was awesome. Do me a favor before you roll out. Like and subscribe, comment. Let me know what you thought about the movie. Are you tired of these type of movies? One thing before I go, I felt like it was this type of movie, but it didn't go so far where it just stressed me. It stressed me out. It was crazy, but I don't know if I was open for it because I haven't watched this type of movie in a long time because I didn't want my energy to go negative. because we have enough Black trauma being glorified on TV. But with that being said, love who loves you. May God bless you with everything that you need. Shout out to the replay game. And the CPU Scholar is out.